in the case of the one you're looking at. Canandaigua Town Board meeting of September 28th, 2020. At this time, we will have the pledge led by Town Council Member Linda Dworzak.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Linda. Is Jean Chrisman with us or someone else from the clerk's office?
Lisa's with us.
Hi, Lisa. Lisa, can you confirm that the meeting was properly advertised? And I'm sorry, first, can you take the roll?
Yes, I can. Right. Councilman Gary Davis.
Present.
Councilwoman Linda Dworzak.
Present.
Councilman Terry Fennelly.
Present.
Supervisor Kathy Minicox.
Present.
Councilman Jared Simpson.
Present.
And Lisa, can you also confirm that the meeting was properly advertised?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge the birthdays that we have coming up, or may just passed because we changed the meeting date of our meeting. So we had Jean Chrisman on September 23rd and September 24th, Ken Brockett. September 26th, Bruce Williams. October 5th, Eric Cooper. October 7th, Edith Davey. October 8th, Austin Mincer. October 9th, Linda Dworzak. Happy birthday, Linda. October 10th, Jared Simpson. Happy birthday. October 12th, Chris Fonda. October 14th, David Emery. And October 14th, Jeff Miller. Happy birthday to everyone on the list, and hope everyone has a great birthday. We have written communications in a binder, I believe, on the table or is circulating. All right, so please feel free to look at those, pass them around. Before we continue, I just want to let everyone know, I'm sorry that I'm not there in person. Town board members know, and Doug also knows, but I may have been exposed to COVID. I don't think I was, but you know, just to be extra safe, I am choosing to stay home while we wait to hear from the contact tracers. So I'm fine, I feel fine, but I'll keep you all posted, obviously, but I don't think I've seen any of you in person within the last 2 weeks or so. So certainly not since it was Saturday when I may have been exposed, so. All right, at this time, we have our first privilege of the floor, if anyone would like to be heard. Is there anyone in town hall that wants to be heard?
Anything you'd like.
I see someone maybe.
Want to remind the rules?
Yes. So I'm sorry, I can't see who's speaking, so I don't know if someone that's familiar with the rules. We have 3 minute, I'll be keeping time. You have 3 minutes to speak, so don't take it personally when you'll hear a beep going off that your time is coming to an end. Please be polite. I'm sorry?
She was asking about her mask and Doug answered her.
Okay, so if you could state your name and where you're from, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, board members. I'm Diana Sherry, town resident since 1998, Ontario County resident since 1974. I'm a retired peace officer with 17 years of service. I'm addressing Resolution 2020-205. I'd like to address the origin of this resolution petition, also the local opposition to the name change of Squaw Island, and finally the actual dollar cost to the town with the inaction of this resolution. Mr. Randolph, admittedly a resident of the town of Hopewell, could legitimately have initiated his petition in that town, yet he shops it around the city that has no jurisdiction over the island, and now to our town. In his initial letter to this board, he references the influences of BLM as a reason to push forward with the changing of the name of our Squaw, the changing of the folkloric name of our Squaw Island. The past few months have revealed BLM's origins to be Marxist, which seek to divide communities, destroy culture and institutions, and squelch freedom of speech. Local opposition to the name change per online petition as of today shows 668 respondents, and this is online only. Where is Mr. Randolph? Is he here before us with evidence to support his petition with a greater number of local constituents and voters? And finally, taxpayer costs. This resolution encumbers our town's paid town manager to act as a point person with at least 10 local, state, and federal agencies, plus town individuals in the outreach, interaction, compilation, and presentation of outcomes to this board. It would be reasonable and prudent for the voters to be provided with an estimate of the number of hours over an indefinite period of time to see this matter through. What will be the cost in hours of time and money diverted from the essential tasks of running the town? Since you will be voting on this, I presume tonight, could we have that estimate, please? I know that several board members here were elected on their positions of judicious use of taxpayer money and resources. Please consider. This agenda of Mr. Randolph's does not require a resolution from the town of Canandaigua for it to move forward. For these reasons, I urge tonight a defeat of this resolution 2020-205. Do you have an estimate of the cost?
Oh, Kathy, you're on mute.
This is not a question and answer period at this time, but I don't have an estimate of the cost. So we'll have more, the town board will have discussion of the matter when the resolution comes out. And your 3 minutes is up. Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to be heard? Okay, you guys are gonna have to tell me if anybody looks like they're getting up. No one else? Okay, seeing no hands, seeing no one else in the Zoom call, we will now proceed with priority business. I don't think we have any. We don't have any presentations. Public hearings. I would like to let everyone know that we're going to open this hearing, but the matter will not be voted on today. It will be tabled, but if anybody is there to be heard on it, we will open the hearing and continue it to another time. So public hearing on the draft natural resources inventory update and seeker intent to declare lead agency. Can I have a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Okay, is there anyone that wishes to be heard on the public hearing?
Kathy, if I could just do a quick update since I don't see anyone here. So the natural resource inventory received a email today from Barbara Johnson from Labella, who helped us with preparation of this. There's some changes that minor, they're very, very minor edits. But coupled with those edits with also, and you probably saw in the resolution, I identified at the last minute before the resolutions went out that there's a need for a local law. And so I thought instead of piecemealing this, I'm just going to ask you to table that resolution indefinitely, close this public hearing. I'll bring you back the MRI with the local law that adopts it. We'll set a public hearing and do it cleanly all at once.
Sounds good. So how do we table it?
You can just close the public hearing and then table the resolution indefinitely. We'll start over.
So can I have a motion to close the hearing for now?
So moved.
So
Second.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we will move on. I'm sorry,
And we'll table it indefinitely, or do we do that at the resolution?
we could do it either way. I just don't have the resolution number off the top of my head, so.
200.
Oh, that's what Doug just said, right? All right, so if we could table resolution number 2020-200, adoption of the Town of Canandaigua National Natural Resources Inventory Update and seeker determination of non-significance. So I can move to table that. Do we need a vote on that, Doug?
Anyone can move to table, right? Do we have to vote?
It would be good, just for.
Okay.
I made a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. All right, we have no continued public hearings, no new public hearings. Can we have reports of town officials and department heads? Jim Fletcher, Highway and Water, please.
Your chair is leaving.
Are you backing up, Jim, your chair?
I started backing up, so I thought maybe it's feedback or somewhere. Tonight, there are a couple resolutions on there. One is for the moving of funds from our capital water project to the highway fund. And there, that funding is going to go towards paving a few more roads this year, one being a mile of Hickox Road. And I had Acorn Hill in my report, but I changed my mind on that road between 21 and Bill Cheshire Road. I'm gonna hold off on Acorn Hills. There's been some discussion about that. The working on Town Line Road, be out there for the next 6 weeks, working on that project. The capital project for the water project overall has been going very well. If some of you haven't seen, the first tank has been built. We put a video up about that. They are finishing up connecting the water lines, and we're waiting for concrete to be poured at the pump station. So overall, the project itself is moving along pretty well. We spent a lot of time cleaning and our system up with the vacuum truck, valve boxes and curb stops, so you work when we need it. The meter, upgrade the meters, so that's going along pretty well for the meter pits, for the new water meters. And soon we'll be having what's called Ion Water, to be where the resident can log in themselves and get their information and alerts when they start using a lot of water. The transfer station, we did permits on September 9th. We did 400 permits that night. Myself, Rebecca, Jean, and Caitlin. Probably won't do it the rest of the year. There was, wasn't a lot of happy campers out there. And I think we got to work on our permit status and what we're going to do in the future. So I'd like to put some people together after the first of the year, probably a public works. So we'll debate what we're going to do going forward with the permits for the town, for the transfer station. Okay. Also, Kathy, unfortunately, I should email this to you, but last week I met with the finance committee about the Kramer Road Water District extension. And tonight I had out some information about the cost and the debt service to the 5 properties on Kramer Road. Now, I came to the conclusion that to have any sort of financial input from the residents is going to be minimal. What I mean by that is, in order to keep it below audit and control of $920 a year, the work that Doug would have to do to put into just creating all this paperwork for a special district, going to the comptroller, spend additional money with MRB, it would cost about the same as it would if the district just paid for the complete installation of the project. We have budgeted $165,000 to create the 3,800 feet loop of water main. This water main is also the #1 priority on our master water plan. And it also provides the second connection to our water tanks in the event something happens to the connection on Route 21. So by saying this tonight, I'm looking for a town board verbal approval to come back to you in October with the more information to set up this district so we can take it to the Department of Health. That's what I'm looking for from everybody who's here tonight from the board. Because they is, sorry, the benefit of the loop, currently we have one connection on Route 21 that feeds our water tank. And though it doesn't happen very often, but it has happened once before where an excavator dug through the water main that feeds the tanks, and it wasn't ours. So by providing the secondary loop, provides newer water to the tank, provides secondary connection in the event the water main on 21 gets disconnected by whatever reason, and provides, I say, newer water. So instead of taking the long way around through Cheshire, Wells Curtis, or Westlake Road to get back up to 21 to feed our tanks, it reduces the age of the tank, so we help with our stage 2 disinfection byproducts that we have to remove out of the tank. So those are some of the benefits to connecting this loop on Creamer Road.
So what do you need from us, Jim? Just, do you need a vote or just?
So, a vote from the board members to say, yes, we agree with what you're saying, Jim, and we'd like you to move forward, come back in October.
I think it's time for us to do this. We've talked about it for a number of years, and as Jim pointed out, it is one of the principal concerns in our water master plan. We adopted that all that long ago. So I would be in favor of doing this and doing it in this manner.
Yeah, it's a low-cost way to get the redundancy that we need.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. I trust your judgment on it. You're the expert, so. Sounds,
Likewise here.
All right, thank you.
Let me just so all the board members are aware of the process. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to actually create a district extension, a new special district, and then we will consolidate that into Canandaigua Consolidated so that those 5 residences, I believe, will actually become part of Canandaigua Consolidated. So in order to do that, that does require local law and public hearing, just like we normally would, so that anybody has a chance to weigh in. So we'll get that process started, but it's going to take us a couple of meetings for us to go through that process.
okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. Pam, I think I saw you there. Pam, do you have a report for us?
Yes, I submitted my report. I have nothing to add unless anybody has questions.
Okay, I don't see anyone with any questions. Thanks very much, Pam. Thanks for your report. We don't have anyone from Town Historian's Office, I assume. Is that correct?
Correct.
Town Clerk.
No, I don't have anything further.
All right. Eric, Planner.
Eric's not available. So
All right. Doug, Town Manager's Report.
I submitted my report. Happy to answer any questions.
All right. Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor. I have the monthly financial reports. Thank you for everyone who put those together and compiled them. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for the work, Jim and your crew, for all the work that you're doing. I'm not sure if the residents are giving you a hard time. I couldn't hear what you were saying, but driving down Middle Cheshire, it looks like you're doing a great job, but I'm not one of those people whose lawns was ripped up. I'm sure it's tough, but coming along and it looks great. And from what I understand, I saw some pictures of the tank going in, and I saw your video of how that's going in. It's pretty amazing. So Terry and Jim, from what I can see, it looks like a great job is being done by all. So please let everyone know that I said thank you. I'd also like to thank Chris Jensen and Dale Zucaitis for going above and beyond as code enforcement. I'm sure when they took their jobs, they had no idea what was going to come. And so they've stepped up and put in the extra time, and I appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Doug for the excellent work on the budget, keeping our tax rate at $1.03. I know you put in a lot of work on it, and we're going to be setting a hearing tonight, but I want to personally thank you for all the work that went into it. And when I see what other towns are going through and other municipalities throughout the state, I'm amazed that we were able to keep it the way we were. And you are responsible for that, so thank you. Other than that, I don't have anything else at this time. Reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Linda, do you have anything to report from finance?
Nope, just God's got the budget well under control, and it looks like this year we won't even have any little tweaks to it.
Okay, Terry, anything from planning?
Couple of things. In the last meeting, we did discuss a question that had come up about parking in Cheshire. And we do own a piece of land out at the end of Easter Avenue that had been surveyed a couple of years.
4 years ago.
We should perhaps think about doing something with that land and perhaps even with that building, whether we really need to have it there or not. Let's see, we already talked about Grandview Park Sewer District. There were a couple of areas that were of great interest in our sewer master plan when it was developed within 2016 years, 4 or 5 years ago. One was Cheshire. We've already addressed that, and the costs are so high that residents didn't feel that they wanted to entertain it at this time. We did send, or Doug did send out a questionnaire survey to people in the Grandview Park area, asking them what their opinion was, pointing out what the costs may be. And I don't know if we've gotten anything back in the past week, but we had half a dozen responses as of early last week. There were 4 people against and 2 in favor of it. So we're going to go back out with the same survey, but put a stamped self-addressed envelope in this time, maybe get better response. But it looks like people are not in favor. Again, it's a cost issue. So those are the 2 highest areas of concern for sewer. So we'll see what develops. Yeah, last week there was a meeting talking about the Auburn Trail. We got together the MRB and Fisher Associates. They traded information, and I think we'll be seeing more on Auburn Trail, and probably not until next year. But and that's about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Environmental, Jared, do you have anything?
Just a little bit looking forward to, I've been out of the loop for the last couple of weeks, so it's nice getting back up to speed on things. We are meeting Wednesday as a committee, and hopefully we'll be a little bit closer to getting the website up and running. And also, Linda had shared a really creative idea with Caitlin that is going to be looked at by the committee as well to try to get people excited about recycling come January, you know, to get people more involved and more interested, and hopefully continue to boost that program, which already runs pretty well.
All right, that's great to
That's
see.
it.
Great to see you back, Jared. Glad to see you're
Thanks.
doing well. So I trust everything went well.
It did. It did. I just have to be smart, which isn't always my strong suit. So,
Stay off those ladders.
yeah.
Okay, ordinance committee, Gary Davis.
We have an attachment to the agenda tonight, our last meeting, so it gives the board the idea of what we're working on now at in the ordinance committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have anyone from any of the remainder of the committees, boards, and commissions? Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, ECB, Citizens Implementation Committee, Parks and Rec, Special Events, Ag Committee, or Drainage Committee? Any reports from any of those? Okay.
For the special events committee, we did discuss, was there anything that we thought could be safely done for Halloween? And we ultimately decided that it was a good year to not put anyone at risk with the.
Yeah, I think with the CDC guidelines that came out, it's probably for the best, unfortunately. So hopefully the kids will be able to figure something out in their neighborhoods that is safe. Okay, at this time we have our next privilege of the floor. If anyone would like to be heard. I see a hand, I think.
That's just.
Okay.
Take this off or?
Yeah, when you're up there.
Turn the mic on. Just push the button. That's push the button. down.
Three.
Right there.
Right here.
There you
Can you hear me? I'm Horace with mascot. For you Yankee fans, I wore my Tampa Bay Rays mask tonight. I'm the chairman of the newly formed Trees Committee. It was formed last February, but then we were put on hold for a long period of time. But on Saturday, 3 of us visited all the cemeteries except for Remington. We went to the Westlake Schoolhouse and parts of Oneonta. Edith Davey did a great job of taking notes. I gave it to Lisa today, and I think she put them in the mailboxes. And I think Sarah's emailing them out to the members of the committee. But basically what we did was kind of come up with a report of our observation of the trees in those particular areas. That was one of our first responsibilities. The next step we're going to do is to go to the parks. But I don't want to go through the whole report, but if you skim it, you'll notice that there are some issues in some of the cemeteries with diseases, with some trees that are dead, branches that are dead that are hanging, those types of things. There are a couple of cemeteries that have a couple of great ash trees where they look like they're great ash trees, but there's something that really needs to be watched to the board. And of course, as you're aware, there was a problem during the summer with the gypsy moth and all that, which is just something that we need to keep our eyes on for the next season. As Dan Marion said, he's a great expert, I'll tell you, on trees. Who knows what's going to happen next year? If we have a lousy spring, we might not see the gypsy moth. So, but it's something that we should keep our eye on. So I don't know if you have any questions, or hopefully sometime this fall or next spring, we're going to hit the parks and come up with some kind of report as far as the condition of the trees. Eventually, we want to make a list of what we think should be put into the different facilities of the town and what kinds of trees should be added. And then we are also going to do an inventory of the trees.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good report.
I think that's Dennis, but your head was cut off, so is that Dennis? It's good to see you, and thank you very much for your report, or to see part of you anyway. Okay, at this time we are moving to resolutions. We have no continued resolutions, and I'd like to take one of the resolutions first, because I believe we have some people here on this specific issue. We'll take it out of order so that if people don't want to stay, we'll take care of it on the first, if everyone's okay with that. So it's resolution number 2020-205, request to the USGS to consider all points of view regarding the possible name change of the Canandaigua Island, currently known as Squaw Island. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I would like to just say something, not to belabor this, because we had quite a discussion last time. To the woman who spoke earlier, I'm sorry, I did not catch your name, and it's hard to see with the camera. I understand that people are upset with the way this resolution came to be. We discussed it at length last time, that regardless of how it came to be, it's on our laps now. And I personally have learned a lot about the situation with regard to the name and what it means to the indigenous peoples. And we've already done a lot of research on this. So it's not just a question of how it came to be, that it's someone from another town. So I'm not going to belabor it. Like I said, we spoke about it extensively last time, and we all decided that we needed more information. And so this resolution grew out of that. I trust that Doug will do it in a not costly way. And I know that I personally would be willing to help to keep costs down, as I'm sure anyone else would. So I don't know if Doug wants to be heard on that, but my sincere hope is that after we get all this information that I personally am in favor of a name change based upon what I have learned since this began. I felt like many people to begin with, but that's based on the wishes of the Indigenous people, not any one particular person. It's based upon what I've learned since becoming involved in this. So if anyone else has anything else they want to add.
I'd like to thank God for including all of the various things that, you know, we received over the past couple of months. It seems like that this has been under discussion and putting it all together so that people can look at both sides of the story and understand. Thank you.
Right. And I think the way that it was, you know, brought to us in the way it was, I think we were all caught off guard. So taking the time out to do the right thing and get all the information is really all the best that we can do. So thank you, Doug, for that.
I'd like to add something myself, Kathy.
Sure.
This resolution, which is rather lengthy, probably the longest I've ever seen in my 11 years on the town board. It really captured everything that was said at our meeting in August. I think Doug did, as you said, a great job of being able to pull together the various points of view and also pointing out the difficulty of trying to find out just exactly who it is that has the responsibility and the authority to name this island or rename it or leave it alone. I don't know that that's actually been determined at this point. It's either museum, parks, DEC. The DEC maintains it. It's a wildlife management unit. So they manage it from that standpoint, but that doesn't necessarily convey ownership or title or however you want to express it. This resolution says, request to the USGS to consider all points of view regarding the possible name change of the Canandaigua Island, currently known as Squaw Island. This resolution does not say that the town of Canandaigua endorses or doesn't endorse a change. All it says is it merely says that the authority, whoever they are, that does have that responsibility and the ability to consider a change in name, that group should convene a public meeting to listen to people that have feelings in this area, and then to make an informed decision based on that that hearing, or whatever you want to call it, a public hearing. So I just want to point that out, that this is not an endorsement by the town of Canandaigua, in my opinion, so of either way.
Right. No, and that's what I meant to say. So I appreciate you. What I was trying to say was, when this was brought to us, it wasn't clear what was being asked of us. Were we saying the town residents, the town board, us individually? So correct. And I still think it was thrown at us sort of, not by anyone, not by the person who brought it. I don't mean that in that way, but we need to clarify what our role is and then make an informed decision, if it's even proper for us to make a decision on this. I was just saying, regardless of what we end up doing, from a personal standpoint, not speaking for the town or as a member of the town board even, because we haven't gotten to the point where our role in this really is clear. I'm just saying that while going through this process, I've come to personally be in favor of it, but I want to make it clear that I know not everyone feels that it's even proper for us to get to that point. So yeah, thank you, Terry. That I wasn't being clear. So thank you very much for clarifying that.
I'd like to, just chime in also and thank Doug for the resolution, which definitely captures, like has already been said, a lot of different ideas about the process, about what we are hoping to do. Personally, as someone who does not want to see it change, I can support this resolution because it puts it out there in front publicly, and it just opens the next step. And we don't know what's going to happen as a result of that, but it will give more stakeholders the opportunity to be part of the process. as we work through. And I'm sure as this goes on, we'll learn more and more about the process. But again, the fact that it specifically says we want the public to be involved in the next steps, I think that definitely makes it something that I can live with as we go forward on it.
Thanks, Jared. And each one of us are individual members of the public as well. So my opinion at this point is only in that regard. So,
Kathy,
yes.
I'd like to say the same, basically the same as what I said at the August meeting, is that, you know, the town board doesn't have any decision to make, as Jerry indicated, naming, you know, what the name of the island will be. I've never had any problems with, you know, the way it is right now, because in the years I've been here, as I indicated in August, I've never heard anybody say the derogatory names and stuff they called it. But the way Doug has put this resolution together, I think it, you know, it's really ideal, because then hopefully the public will have a chance to voice their concerns when the parties that are going to be charged with possibly changing the name or not takes place.
Whether or not there is any name change made, I believe firmly that it will be referred to as Squaw Island for virtual forever. The plaza where Macri's is, it isn't known as Macri's Plaza, it's known as the old Wegmans Plaza. Roseland is where we have a lot of condominiums now. That's Roseland. So the name will remain in the vernacular here in this area if whatever agency has the jurisdiction decides to rename it. So.
Right. And I suppose it may only be that, you know, like I said, having personally spoke to someone who is identified as an elder in the indigenous peoples, and the person that I spoke with personally who had changed my mind basically. So I may continue to call it that, not in that person's presence, because that's what I've known it as, but you know, out of respect for that person who, as I told you last time, was practically in tears speaking to me about it, that person changed my mind. Maybe people will change their mind, maybe they won't, but that's the whole point, is the decision will be made after all the information is put together, not by any one person. So, and ultimately, we don't even know who's going to ultimately make the decision. So that's hopefully what we'll find out. So not to belabor the point anymore, because we've been through this now a long time. Does anyone else have anything to say before we move it to a vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Doug, also for putting that resolution together. All right. We're going to go back to resolution number 2020-188, acceptance of the monthly financial reports.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-189, acknowledgement and authorization of budget transfers by town manager.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-190, acknowledgement of receipt of tentative budget, declaration of preliminary budget of the town of Canandaigua for the year 2021, establishment of public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-191, setting salary following initial 6 months for the position of assessor.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-192, authorize town manager to issue refunds from Excelis to employees receiving dental insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-193, budget amendment transfer authorization, reimbursement of highway fund relating to water project, Canandaigua Consolidated Water District H26W.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-194, authorization to close capital project and to use repair reserve funds and unappropriated fund balance for improvements relating to the construction of the new highway facility.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-195, Canandaigua Consolidated Water District Capital Improvement Project, budget adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-196, renew contract with Auctions International, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Was that 196 I just read?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution number 2020-197, request to accept 284 agreement for the expenditure of 2020 highway monies.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Kathy, if I just could on that, we're gonna need all of you to sign that updated 284 agreement that I don't believe I know, Lisa, do you have that available this evening? I don't think we probably don't. So how about if we just give that and then we'll catch up with each of you to sign that.
Okay. Resolution number 2020-198, accept MRB Group proposal for grant application, etc.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-199, renew contract with Impact Earth.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we did everything we have to do to table the next one, correct?
Yes.
That's it.
All right. Okay. Resolution number 2020-201, accepting contract with the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation for the purposes of administering the awarded WIA grant and authorizing the town manager to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-202, authorizing town manager to execute documents required to complete the Pendleton Farms purchase of development rights, farmland protection grant program with the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2020-203, establishment of energy benchmarking policy.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Resolution number 2020-204, reappointment of John Nope to the Board of Assessment Review.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right,
Block the sureties?
yep, we're going to block resolutions 2020-206 through 2020-210.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is that it? That's it for resolutions. Next, we have approval of town board meeting minutes. The minutes of August 17th, 2020. I guess we could do them together unless anyone has any changes. Can I have a motion to approve August 17th and August 27th, 2020?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any changes, deletions, requests for, I can't think of the word, corrections by anyone? Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, town board meeting minutes of August 17th and August 27th, 2020 are approved. Payment of the bills. Lisa.
We have the utility abstract dated September 3rd to 2020 totaling $61,845.57. The general fund, $34,632.95. The highway fund, $3,996.66. Capital projects, $11,095. Water districts, $12,120.96. The utility abstract dated September 17th, 2020 totaling $35,500.23. The general fund, $17,204.33. The highway fund, $11,552.96. The lighting districts, $1,082.59. Water districts, $5,660.35. Abstract dated September 22nd, 2020, totaling $1,506,293.25. The general fund, $135,027 and 45 cents. Local solid waste, $733.84. Highway fund, $40,230.69. Capital projects, $1,141,692.41. Water districts, $34,103.86. Trust and agency, $154,505.
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, you're on mute.
I know. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion to approve the bill carries. Thank you, Lisa. That was quite a mouthful with all those numbers. Now I know at least Jean got you to do it tonight. All right. Next, privilege of the floor. Would anyone else like to be heard about anything?
I don't see anyone here, Kathy.
All right.
Just to let you know, I just saw an email that just came in a little bit ago. Our Onondaga Park legislation that authorizes the transfer of Onondaga Park to the town of Canandaigua was actually delivered to the governor's office today. And it's due to be either signed or acted upon by October 7th. So.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations. Thank you again, Doug, for all your efforts and everyone that worked on that. Senator Kolb and Senator Helming and Doug for having the idea of putting it all together. So thank you, everyone. And thank you to the governor once he signs it. Any other business? We have our last privilege of the floor. All right, and executive session, it looks like we have request by a town manager for an executive session to discuss proposed, pending, or current litigation. Another topic is employment history of a particular individual, and to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, lease of real property when publicity might affect value. Can I have a motion to move into executive session?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. For the public, I don't expect, does anyone else expect anything else after the executive session? I don't see anything else, so we will now move into executive session. And if Doug, I think you're the one controlling Zoom, if you could.
Yes. I will speak right back.
Night, guys.
Aye.
Night. Bye, Tina.
Bye.